Hey everyone, welcome to the Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness podcast. I'm Stephanie, a book-loving, notebook-hoarding reader and writer on a mission to change lives one book and one notebook at a time. On this podcast, we explore the power of books and notebooks as tools for wellness. Reading and writing can help us feel better and make life better too, and I'll show you how I do it. You'll find episodes exploring the research behind reading and writing for wellness, practical strategies to embrace your own restorative reading and writing, and you'll meet authors and special guests who help us take inspired actions in our own daily practices too. So grab a notebook and your TBR list and let's dive into today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness. I'm Stephanie, as always, here with another episode exploring how reading and writing can help us feel better. You are in for a treat today. Today we are talking about writing, but we're not just talking about any old kind of writing. We are talking about a specific kind of restorative writing, expressive writing. But we're not just talking about any old form of expressive writing. We are going in deep and specific to a special kind of expressive writing that has made such a key difference in my physical and mental health, has truly reduced and almost eliminated the amount of chronic pain that I feel. And that is called JournalSpeak. JournalSpeak has been so instrumental in my own journey that I have taken the coursework with the creator of it in order to share it with others and to coach others and to really make a difference in other people's lives. I've talked about on the podcast that I've gone through a multiple year journey of chronic pain. I did everything. I tried everything. I combined everything. I stacked everything. And while things helped bit by bit by bit, I never felt the kind of relief I was looking for until this, right? And it's kind of ironic that writing is the thing that healed me because I already talk about the benefits of writing. I was already writing every day, but I wasn't doing this kind of writing. This kind of writing is so specifically linked to our nervous system that engaging in it just has a wonderful, magical effect. Now, I'm not going to go into the science behind it today. If you want to know a bit more about that, I did talk about it in episode 178. I called that episode Scriptotherapy, Restorative Writing, and Healing Chronic Pain. I will put a link to that in the show notes, but just know based on the more recent learning I've done that I will definitely be updating that episode soon. But today is about a brief outline of what JournalSpeak is, and then sharing a set of books that I read on an almost daily basis as a complement to that practice. Now that will make sense in a minute because you might be thinking, wait, how did you go from we're going to talk about expressive writing to we're going to talk about books? Well, I'm going to get there. Now, if you are in upstate New York, then I am doing a workshop on expressive writing to ease chronic pain, including a list of the books that you're going to listen to today. I'm doing one in the spring and I'm doing one in the summer at a beautiful retreat house. If you're interested and you are local, reach out to me and I can send you those details. But today, I'm just going to give a quick overview of JournalSpeak and then go into the books after I tell you why. Okay, so JournalSpeak is a very specific, targeted form of expressive writing. Now, expressive writing is that kind of writing where you literally just let everything out of your body, your mind, your heart, your soul, your spirit without overthinking. You just represent on the page whatever is going on inside of you. We don't care what it looks like. We don't care what it sounds like if you were to read it back to yourself. We don't look for handwriting or beautiful lines. We don't care about spelling or grammatically correct phrases or sentences. We just want to get the thoughts out. We want to teach ourselves that we're here for us. we've got our backs. The page has our backs. And just by acknowledging the things that you're feeling, no matter how scary, no matter how negative, no matter how frustrating, that sends a signal to your system that it's time to calm down, that you're going to work through this stuff on the page, that you're going to rewire some things in your brain in the process. And therefore, your nervous system doesn't have to get your attention in other ways, like chronic pain, like migraines, like dizziness or insomnia. This expressive writing truly is what I call magical, but is rooted in so much science. And this journal speak method is developed by, or was developed by Nicole Sachs. And I've talked about her work here on the podcast before because of how important it was to me. Now, I want to outline how journal speak works, and then that will make sense of why we're talking about books today. So journal speak, it's basically three things. The very first thing comes before you actually sit down to do some expressive writing, and that's to create a set of three lists. These lists represent all of the things that might be weighing your body down and causing it to feel dysregulated in some way. So one list is all about your past. Anything from childhood all the way up till yesterday that you're just hanging on to for whatever reason. It could be something big, it could be something little, it could be something from when you were 6 or something from yesterday at work. It doesn't matter. It's just those things that you know bothered you or rubbed you the wrong way or really caused some trauma in your life, and they're there still with you. You haven't released them yet. That's list one, things from your past. List two are stressors in your present. These are the things that are weighing you down and overwhelming you or frustrating you or making you sad or making you confused and just making you not feel well. It could be personal, it could be work, it could be things going on in the world. It can be anything. That's list two. List three are the personality characteristics that you hold that might be contributing to the way you feel and maybe causing some mental anguish. So things like people pleasing. Yeah, raise your hand, everybody. People pleasing, perfectionism, trying to do all of the things so that you feel good enough, right? Those kinds of personality characteristics can get in our way. Now, Nicole Sachs' work is based on Dr. John Sarno's work, and he talks about those lists as well. So you may hear me mention Nicole's name, you may hear me mention Dr. Sarno's name, you may hear me mention James Pennebaker for his research on expressive writing. Basically, all expressive writing is similar, but journal speak, Nicole Sachs, John Sarno really ask you to go in on those three things as a starting point for what might be weighing down your nervous system, causing it to fire and overfire and misfire, and give you all of these symptoms to pay attention to because it doesn't know how to deal with this emotional pain that you're either feeling or you have shoved away. So you start with those three lists, and maybe your list is small, maybe it is long. As you get more comfortable representing the things on the page that might be weighing you down, you might find an ease in jotting them down, knowing that if you write them down, they tend to disappear later after you do the work. So you have your list, and then it's time to write. It's time to show up to your notebook, to your page, to your computer, whatever works for you, and it's time to write. It's time to pick one of those things off of your list and start writing about it. It's time to just think about in the moment, what's on my mind today? What's weighing me down? What is my body feeling that needs to get out? And you start there. But you basically write for 20 minutes and you don't stop, or you try not to stop. If you get stuck, you just write, I'm stuck right now. And I don't know what to write about, but I'm going to keep going and see what comes up on the page. That 20 minutes I have found is this magic number. It's long enough to get the surface stuff on the page, right? What's bothering you, how you're feeling about it. But beyond that, you need to keep writing and keep digging and keep going in order to get to the stuff that's under the surface, right? The stuff that might be connected to how you are feeling or teaching you something about yourself so that you can think differently about yourself, know differently about yourself, and then eventually take some inspired action off the page if you choose. So that's 20 minutes of expressive writing where you're really feeling all the feels and you are not holding back. Okay, you're not holding back in sentence structure, in handwriting and messiness, and you are not holding back in the feelings. Research shows you have to get truly, deeply honest on the page in order to do this kind of rewiring in your prefrontal cortex that is going to help you feel better. So you've got to talk about people on the page. You've got to talk about your feelings on the page. You can swear on the page. You can get real on the page. And you also can just vent on the page and write things that you don't really mean, right? That aren't really true, but you're just feeling so bad in the moment. You just have to spew it out. All of that is so important in getting this to help you feel better. So you do that for 20 minutes and you unload. And yes, you can go longer, of course, but 20 minutes is kind of my magic number and the number that Nicole has found as well. But here's the thing, here's the next step that a lot of people either don't understand the importance of or they skip. And that was me in the beginning. But once I was true to this structure, and once I started doing what Nicole said in these next 10 minutes, I started to notice a shift. So, what do you do in the next 10 minutes, and how is it connected to what I'm talking about today? After your 20 minutes of journal speak, you have 10 minutes of self soothing, self compassion, rest. Right? It can be hard to go from putting some pretty intense feelings on the page to getting rid of that writing, which, yes, we destroy it as a symbol to release, as well as giving us permission to truly write what we feel since no one else will see it. But it can be hard to just get back into the real world after that. You need a little bit of processing time. And so those 10 minutes are critical in helping your nervous system regulate, helping your nervous system calm down into a rest and digest phase, especially if you got a little emotional during that expressive writing, as I often do. But it also starts to teach us that we matter and this rest matters. This self-care matters. This self-compassion matters. We are worthy of it. We are deserving of it, no matter what. And that teaches your nervous system a whole lot. So this piece was critical for me. I avoided it, I skipped it, but once I started doing it, I started noticing more of a difference. Now, in that self-soothing time, you can do a bunch of things, right? You could just sit in silence for 10 minutes and breathe. You could do some gentle yoga stretches. You might listen to music that feels really appealing to you. Maybe you go for a 10-minute contemplative walk. Maybe you meditate and do a loving kindness meditation for yourself and others. All of those things are appropriate self-soothing activities. And quite frankly, the word appropriate isn't even right because it just depends on what is self-soothing for you. What do you know about me? I love to read. So for me, a go-to self-soothing method is to read and reset my nervous system. Now, I'm not just reading anything, right? We've talked so much on this podcast on how what you read matters because it fires certain chemicals in your brain, which fire certain feelings. So it's really important to pay attention to what we're reading after this time. And that's essentially what we're talking about today. I want to give you a list of books that are perfect for that self-soothing time after journal speak or whenever you need a break. We've talked in the podcast, and I can link to it in the show notes about a pause pile. When you just need to get away for 6 minutes to get that meditative motion of your eyes to calm your nervous system down, these books are perfect for your pause pile. So even if you are not doing expressive writing yet, because I think everybody should and could benefit from it, these books are just really beautiful soothing, feel good, inspirational books that are perfect for your pause pile and perfect for when you just need a pick me up and you want to feel better. Okay, now let's get to the books. The first book I want to recommend, I have been recommending for years and years and years, and I will continue to do so, is Heart Talk by Cleo Wade. Cleo Wade has written so many beautiful things that I could recommend for after journal speak or a pause pile, but Heart Talk is my favorite. It is this small, beautiful book with bite-sized bits of inspiration. You might find a one sentence quote on one page, or you might find a longer verse poem on another, but every single page is filled with goodness. It is filled with feel good quotes and reflections and contemplations and reminders that you are enough. It's just a book of beauty. So, Heart Talk by Cleo Wade is one of my top recommendations to just browse through. Start at the left side of the book and keep going all the way to the right, or just open up a page and see what message Cleo has for you today. Now, I'll have all links to these books in the show notes, so you're welcome to take notes, but know that I've got your back in the show notes so that you don't have to remember all of these. Up next, I want to recommend a pair of books because while these two books are different and the authors are different, they feel really similar to me inside when I read them. The first is Soul Shift by Rachel Macy Stafford, and the second is Heart Minded by Sarah Blondin. Both of these books feel like a friend giving you a hug and sitting with you over a cup of tea, over a cup of coffee, and reminding you of all of the goodness they see in you in hopes that you see it too. Soul Shift, Heart Minded, they are both narrative. They are both, I don't want to say informal, but it has this informal, come sit with me, come on this journey with me kind of feel. And I absolutely love both of them. I have reread both of them more than once, and they are forever in my pause pile when I need a pick me up. Up next is a collection of poetry. This book is called A Rebellion of Care by David Gate. Now, I just read Jen Hatmaker's memoir, Awake. Oh my goodness, please go read this book if you haven't. And she cited one of David Gate's poems in her book. They are beautiful. The cover is this beautiful vase of flowers, and on the inside, there are poems, there are essays, and every single one just embraces our aliveness, embraces our humanity, embraces our goodness, and just calls on us to take good care of ourselves, to see it inside of us, and then be able to share it in whatever way feels right for us. It's a beautiful little book. Okay, moving on. I could not have a set of books for after journal speak or your pause pile without talking about Beth Kempton, of course. I want to recommend Kokoro by Beth Kempton. Oh, readers, this book is everything. It is a book, and it is also filled with journaling prompts if you wanted to keep writing in a different direction after your expressive writing. But this is based on Beth Kempton's life, on her research, on her writing, on her work, all of it. And she combines it into a book called Kokoro, which is Japanese wisdom for a life well lived. It's particularly pointed to transitions, and for Beth and for me, midlife transitions, this opportunity to take stock, to reflect, and to figure out how you want to move forward. This book is just beautiful. There's mention of poetry, there's mention of Zen text, contemporary philosophy, all sorts of things. And as I mentioned, each chapter ends with a beautiful prompt for your notebook that explores and embraces this idea of just living life with wonder and ease And after coming off of JournalSpeak, this idea of ease gets easier and easier and easier as your body starts to respond. And Kokoro could be a really good pairing for you. How about this next one? Things to look forward to. This is a bit different of a book. This is a beautifully done book. It's beautifully written, but it's beautifully illustrated by Sophie Blackall. This was actually her book that she created and published during COVID. And the subtitle is 52 Large and Small Joys for Today and Every Day. And it's just this beautiful collection of the things that she looks forward to, the things that she finds joyful, right? There's wisdom, there's compassion, but there's whimsy. And there's just this beautiful lightness in the page. After I read this book, the first time back in 2022. I remember I went inside my refrigerator and I put googly eyes on some of the eggs in the carton because that was something that she felt was fun and joyful and could be something that she looked forward to. And so some of them are serious, but some of them are just pure joy. And this will give you that shift you need to shift back into the real world and then maybe even give you some inspiration to act differently in the rest of your day as well. So that's Things to Look Forward to by Sophie Blackall. Okay, up next is a book that I've recommended a lot, but it is perfect for after journal speaking, and that is Melody Godfred's Self-Love for Thinkers and Feelers. If you haven't heard me talk about this one yet, it's this beautiful poetry book focused on self-love and self-care, but written based on the side of the brain you dwell on the most. So, on the left side of the book, there is a poem that is more appealing to left brain, type A, thinkers. But on the right side of the book, there's a poem that is more focused to our more creative, emotional, feeling side. And together, they just pack a powerful punch that no matter who you are, you get the message. You can't help but receive the message of self-love from Melody. It's a beautiful book. It's got this beautiful cover, some line art. It's just gorgeous, and it has a permanent spot on my pause pile as well. Now, up next, I do have another book that is, it's focused on essays. So actually, the next couple of books are essay books. But the first one I want to talk about is All Along You Were Blooming by Morgan Harper Nichols. This is a gorgeous book. Okay, the cover is this beautiful light coral with this turquoise heart, and the title is front and center, All Along You Were Blooming. And actually, it's a turquoise heart, but it's actually a flower. It's a beautiful like juxtaposition of those shapes. And the subtitle is Thoughts for Boundless Living, a celebration of hope, an encounter with grace, a restoration of the heart, a healing of wounds, an anthem of freedom. It's an illustrated collection of poetry and prose that, according to the publisher, invites you to stumble into the sunlight and delight in the wild and boundless grace you have been given. This book is beautiful, and it is the perfect book for when you need a pick-me-up, when you need to feel better, and especially when you want to transition from journal speak or other kinds of expressive writing back into the real world as you blink your eyes open from the page. Next up is a more traditional essay collection called Keep Moving: Notes on Loss, Creativity, and Change. So Maggie is the best-selling author of You Could Make This Place Beautiful, if you recognize her name. And if you love Glennon Doyle, if you love Anne Lamott, if you love Cheryl Strayed, you are going to like this book. This is a collection of quotes, but also essays on facing life's challenges with creativity, with courage, and resilience. Right? So there is such beautiful wisdom in this book. It celebrates beauty and strength on the other side of loss. And now I don't mean loss, like losing a loved one. It's just for anyone who's gone through a difficult time and is wondering what comes next. And so I feel like it is the perfect book for after journal speak because sometimes showing up to the page can be difficult and what you put on the page can be difficult, but it frees you to have those more expansive thoughts of what might come next for me? What might I do next? What might I think next? And the beauty of expressive writing is that you don't have to act on any of those things to get the benefits. You're just considering new possibilities, perhaps that you haven't considered before. Okay, the last book I want to recommend. This one is loved by many for good reason. It's The Book of Alchemy by Suleika Jawad, a creative practice for an inspired life. Suleika is just this beautiful gift of a human who shares her very real life experience with others and invites us to do the same. She has a beautiful Substack called the Isolation Journals, and this book came out of that work, or at least it's similar to that work, I should say. So this book is also a collection of essays. It has Suleika's own personal thoughts, but it is divided into different categories, and she has beautiful guest essays from 100 writers, artists, and thinkers. So they're anywhere between 1 and 3 page essays, and then at the bottom, a beautiful prompt to consider. So you don't have to do that writing. I mean, after all, you just came off of some pretty deep writing, but it's the kind of writing that helps you move inward in a way that is likely different from the expressive writing you just practiced. So it could be a prompt for your morning page practice or just a so-called regular writing practice, or you just skip. You just skip that and you just soak in the beauty of those words in those different categories. Okay, I didn't count today, so I don't know how many books exactly I shared with you, but these books are perfect for if you are doing an expressive writing journal speak practice. They are perfect for that self-soothing afterwards. They will give you a place for your mind to land. They will help fire those mirror neurons in your brain that are going to pave the way for feeling better. And they are the perfect segue and transition back into the real world. But even if you're not journal speaking, you're not writing expressively, these books are perfect for your pause pile. That pile of books when you need a moment, you need a reset, you need a break, just 6 minutes of reading, moving your eyes left to right, triggering that meditative state in your nervous system while reading things that are helping you feel good. These are the books that are going to help you do that. Now, these are my recommendations. Of course, you know I want to hear from you. You can find me at Substack and leave comments on the Weekly Literate Love Letter that has this episode inside. You can head to social media. I'm at Affinito Lit, and you can share your comments there. And as always, my favorite, that little audio podcast button, you can just send me a response, even if you're walking the dog or doing the dishes, letting me know what your favorite inspirational feel good, pause pile kind of book might be. Now, remember, if you want to know more about Journal Speak and this kind of expressive writing, in April in upstate New York, I will be leading a workshop as part of my local college's continuing education program. But if you want to wait till July, I am doing a restorative writing workshop on this topic at a beautiful retreat house for women in Lake George. That's gorgeous and nourishing and all of the things. So if you're local or could be local for the day, just reach out and I'd be happy to send those details your way. You can always head online to my private community as well at skitliterate.co or just go to Substack and find me there. We talk about these kinds of things all the time. We share books like this all of the time, and we would love to welcome you in that community, which, in my opinion, is the best little community for bookish and no bookish people that I know of. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. I hope this gave you something to think about. I hope you're heading to your library, putting them on hold, or heading to your favorite local independent bookstore and make these books yours. I'll see you in the next episode, everyone. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness podcast. You'll find links to all of the books, resources, and ideas mentioned in the show notes and at alitlife.com. And if you want more, you might like to join my Get Literate Substack community. There, you'll find additional inspiration for your reading and writing life, like bonus podcast episodes, book calendars, monthly book clubs, notebooking inspiration, live events, giveaways, and much more. It's only $5 a month, and you get instant access to all of the previous content, too. You can learn more at getliterate.co. But there's one more thing. If you love what you listened to today, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast, or take a screenshot of the episode and text it to a friend. This helps the podcast grow and builds our bookish and no bookish community, too. Thanks for listening, everyone.